Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
My fellow Americans, major combat operations against Activision have ceased. The enemy is in full retreat. We won.
Hello?
Who is it? Is it Yong?
Shut up, it's Activision. Hello, Activision, how are you? Yep. Okay. Well, I mean, we did make a lot of subscribers out of you guys, so can you blame us? Well, hang on, we never said anything about your mother. Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, well, we accept those terms.
What did they say?
That was Activision.
Yeah? Yeah?
They've surrendered unconditionally. They're getting out of Bungie. We won.
Holy shit. We won. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen.
Dong, the motherfucking witch is dead.
Holy
oh my
shit.
god, this is the best day I've had as a YouTuber since I started YouTube. I've never been this fucking happy.
We were not going to do an episode today, okay? I slept in, Ralph's like, get the fuck up.
Get the fuck up!
I'm like, why? He showed me the news, I was like, yep, get the fuck up. Let's go to the office right now, we're doing an episode.
Okay.
Holy shit.
This is going to be a chunky episode. We're going to break it down what we're going to cover, okay? We're going to cover what's happened, the details. We're going to cover why it happened. We're going to cover the reaction, what it means for Activision, what it means for Bungie, and what it means for you.
Ooh.
Let's start.
Okay, guys, so it looks like Bungie is now becoming an indie developer. Holy shit. Are we going to also see them on the Epic Store? I wonder.
I guarantee you we will, actually.
I'd love to see
They
that.
will absolutely
Holy
do that.
shit.
I reckon Tim Sweeney's on the phone right now
Yeah.
like, hey man, I heard you need a
Yeah,
publisher
yeah,
right
yeah.
now. I have a store. Can you please put my
100%.
game on it? Bungie is going independent. They put an announcement out today saying they are severing their publishing relationship with Activision completely, and they are keeping the Destiny IP. To quote directly from their announcement, this is what they said.
We have enjoyed a successful 8-year run and would like to thank Activision for their partnership on Destiny. Looking ahead, we're excited to announce plans for Activision to transfer publishing rights from Destiny to Bungie. With our remarkable Destiny community, we are ready to publish on our own, while Activision will increase their focus on owned IP projects. The planned transition process is already underway and it's in early stages, with Bungie and Activision both committed to making sure the handoff is as seamless as possible.
That, in layman terms, that's a divorce, okay, right there. Bungie and Activision are getting a divorce. This is big news because it actually makes Bungie the largest independent studio in the world.
Bigger than CD Projekt Red.
I'm pretty sure they're bigger than CD Projekt Red
We
in
think
terms
that.
of head count.
With an informative, yes, it definitely is. We think it is.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, they might be close, but I'm pretty sure Bungie's bigger because they've got nearly 1,000 people, and I think CD Projekt Red has significantly less than that. So they're now the largest independent studio in the world. This is massive fucking news. To see a studio of this size break away from a publisher like Activision and go independent is just practically unheard of.
I don't think we've ever seen this before.
And I
mean,
guess-
maybe Bungie with Microsoft back in the day,
Well,
but like
yeah.
even then, were they as big as they are now? I don't know.
That was a very different story. So, but I think we need to ask why this has happened.
So Ralph, what do you think the reasons are that good old Activision and Destiny are getting a divorce?
Splitsville.
Go comatose for me, baby.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
So I think the biggest one is that Activision have expressed that they are not satisfied with how Destiny 2 is selling, okay? Destiny 2 is actually one of the highest selling games of last year. Wait, 2017 now.
If not the highest, right?
No, it wasn't the highest. It was one of the highest.
Sure.
But that's not enough for Activision. They want all the money,
They want
right?
all
and so,
the money.
Therefore, if it isn't growing exponentially fast, then they see it as a liability. So they've expressed already that they were not satisfied with Destiny's performance. Bungie, funnily enough, pushed back on that, and they were like, we actually are very satisfied with how it's performing. So that already indicated that there was some tension between Activision and Bungie with regards to how they saw this franchise.
Totally. I think it's definitely a way that, Activision saw financially it wasn't growing, and then Bungie saw that the goodwill was growing again, and that's where they saw that value. But I think that the goodwill in general has been lost big time, and that's probably another reason why Activision has gone, well, is this valuable IP to us now?
Correct. Yeah, I think there's obviously Destiny 2 has been battered massively. A lot of people just sworn it off, and they're like, I'll never play a Destiny game again. I'll never buy
Which is
from Bungie.
understandable,
It is
right?
very understandable.
Totally.
Like, we've chronicled all those failures on
We've
our
always
channel
loved
very
Destiny, as
extensively.
everyone knows.
So, but I mean, I, as someone who is a diehard Destiny fan, have chronicled those failures because they've just been too hard to ignore. Destiny
Too
2
numerous.
was a massive disappointment on its launch, and now it's better with Forsaken, but a lot of people, it's just too late for
It's
them,
better than
right?
ever. You're right, but there's just too much time that's passed, too much money that people had to continue to invest into ultimately a bad product up until now, where it's actually good.
The other thing I suspect as well is I believe that Destiny 2 does not monetize as well as Activision would like. You look at Call of Duty and they're really milking that thing. It's pretty gross what they're doing to it. Whereas I think with Destiny 2, if you're playing it right now, you'll notice that the monetization is actually in a pretty good place. They're not ripping players off.
The Eververse has changed dramatically.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So I feel like Activision are looking at that and thinking, well, this game costs a lot to make. The players demand a lot of content, and we can't sell a lot of microtransactions. Why the fuck are we involved?
Totally.
In this? That's my theory for why Activision let this happen. Because obviously, Bungie would have loved to have been free from Activision for a while, but I suspect the economics of Destiny 2's monetization was the driver for why Activision let this happen.
Totally. I think that games like World of Warcraft, for instance, where, you know, it was just as fierce in terms of how much content needed to be pushed out.
Yep.
It was subsidized by the fact that it was a $20 per month kind of subscription. Bungie doesn't have that, so it is hard to, you know, make this monetized as well as other games.
Correct. Either way, the reaction has been
Fantastic.
pretty exciting. So obviously the biggest thing that people were feeling when they heard this announcement was disappointment.
I'm very disappointed.
It means that we unfortunately are not going to see the very anticipated Destiny 2 Red Dot DLC. It would have been great, a huge move forward for the franchise,
Totally.
but sadly it dies with this partnership, and now they're going to have to make actual content. So
it's a real shame, really, because I was really looking forward to paying $1 for a Red Dot.
Yeah.
This? It's like a red dot.
What? What red dot? What are you talking about?
But the real reaction was when we heard Jason Schreier go to Twitter and tell everyone that Bungie was literally in a room getting told that they're having this huge schism, and everyone literally got up and cheered, man.
People were cheering in
Cannot
Bungie's
believe
office
that.
when they heard this news. Like, if there's any clearest sign of how excited Bungie was to part ways with Activision, I don't know what it would be. They cheered when they heard.
I agree.
And
And
we all cheered as well.
Yeah, and I
Like,
think it just shed so much light in terms of the internal
the struggle between the two.
like, you know, current temperature of like what's going on.
Definitely right.
My job consists of basically masking my contempt for the assholes in charge.
Twitter is a buzz. It's actually trending on 3 different tags at the moment. It's trending on Destiny, Bungie, and Activision.
yeah.
Or everyone's going nuts. Like, everyone's Twitter feed's exploding, and everyone's just fucking jubilant. Can I just say that everyone is so happy?
You know why? Because it's so fucking exciting.
It is. It's
It is
legitimately exciting to see good news like this. Now, we'll talk about the fact that there's some things we need to be worried about. We'll come to that point later.
Sure.
But initial first glance reaction is very much like, good, man. Because Activision is not a good company to have your like big game tied to. And, you know, it's just great to see Bungie with so much hope for the future.
Some hope for the future.
Now able to sort of like go their own way as an independent studio. And just seeing how jubilant everyone is really shows just how little regard people have for Activision and how shitty their situation is.
So what does this actually mean for Activision? Because look, in reality, it looks like the only IP they actually own now is COD. I mean, yes, they own Guitar Hero and shit, but really the only active
Dead names.
IP that actually is actually making the money, it looks like it's COD. Yes, they own Blizzard,
No,
right?
they're partnered with Blizzard. It's Activision, Blizzard is the company.
Exactly right. So I wonder what the fine print says in that contract if Blizzard can walk away at any moment. Because it looks like right now, Blizzard has a lot of leverage. It's like, they know now that they're like, that's the only other big IP they have. I know that they paid a lot of money to get into bed with Activision and Blizzard. I wonder, man. I wonder if they're going to be like, maybe we don't want to stay around.
A lot of
now.
people are really hoping that they just turf Activision and
Totally.
Blizzard go their own way. I think it's unlikely because Activision paid a lot of money to be in that partnership with Blizzard, and for them to decouple, Activision would be completely fucked. They'd have nothing at that point.
Totally.
They'd have a whole bunch of dead franchises and Call of Duty, which will surely die eventually anyway. So I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see.
But also the share price is probably going to drop now.
Of
like
Activision,
Oh,
yeah.
who knows? I think this is ultimately rocky times ahead for Activision. Because, I mean, only last week I would have said, you know, Activision is probably one of the strongest companies out there. Now, with this new announcement, it kind of sheds a light on the fact that they really are, propped up by other companies that maybe, like Blizzard, for instance, that can still just walk away at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, and I think as well, I just want to say, if you've got this many people cheering for the fact that you aren't involved in something,
Totally.
you should really rethink your business practices.
Yep.
You know what? I'm leaving. I'm fucking leaving!
Last week, I put out a video about Call of Duty and the Red Dot, and I said I wish to God that Bungie would go independent and remake themselves in CD Projekt Red's image. I literally said that in a video last week, and I thought, there's no fucking way that's ever going to happen. It happened now.
They listened again.
And that's right. It happened.
Listened with the Encourage thing, now they listen again.
It happened, and now it's like, just seeing how happy people are that Activision are not involved in this, it just shows you what a scummy company they are. Because if they were a good company, people would be sad.
Totally.
No one is sad.
Totally.
So Activision, if you're watching this video, fucking rethink what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, don't be such a shit company, and we won't bon voyage you when you leave. We'll be legitimately sad.
Yeah, it's very similar to EA, for instance. They've just kind of created the exact same image right now for themselves.
Exactly.
Very anti-consumer, very monetization focused, very stock price, very it's okay if you want to make money, for God's sakes, but there's a balance there between making money and giving the consumer actual good products.
Yeah, definitely.
You
So,
know?
what does this mean for Bungie, though?
I happen to believe you make your own destiny.
What's my destiny?
You're gonna have to figure that out for yourself.
So the biggest impact for Bungie is that they are now going to be free of Activision's forced annualized schedule. What that means is that Activision makes their money by making sure they've got something they can pump out every year until it's dead. They did it with Guitar Hero, they're doing it with Call of Duty, that's how they do. Skylanders, and they just keep pushing things until they're dead. Activision was doing it with Destiny, they were trying to kill it, but now hopefully it means that Bungie can step back and release content when they want to, as opposed to when Activision forces them to.
And I think there'll be a big difference it could be a potential big difference in quality, because there's no finite deadline they're going to get shit out. Maybe it could be like, hey, we'll get this shit out when it's done, when it's ready, when it's good. And that can be a huge change for Destiny.
We might not even see a Destiny 3. They might just keep releasing new
Which
versions.
is exactly what they should do.
Totally. Like World of Warcraft didn't have a World of Warcraft 2. It just had its own
Exactly
expansions,
right.
which
And
kept
we've
building
spoken
on the
about
world.
that before, because they never needed to rebrand because it was always so fucking good.
Correct. I mean, also being free of shareholders is a big deal. The fact is that shareholders demand constant growth. They don't want you just to make money. They want all the money, and they want it all the time. And the fact that Bungie can now look at their situation and say, well, we don't want to make all the money. We want to make enough money and then put out stuff when we're ready. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do that. Don't get me wrong. This isn't like all rainbows. There's some issues here. But they do have the choice to do that now, where they didn't have the choice before.
I think that now, instead of having to work for shareholders, hopefully Bungie can start working for the consumer. And that's a really cool idea, a very exciting idea. And I think also, this is a really big opportunity for a reset button.
Definitely.
This is what Bungie, this is what Destiny 2 needs, this is what Destiny's franchise needs, a reset button, a definite moment where everyone in the community can go, okay, cool, things can change now.
Yes.
And this is the moment.
And I've seen a lot of that on Twitter as well. People are like, hey man, I wasn't ever going to touch Destiny, but now I might give it a shot.
Yes.
I'm hopeful now, so that's exciting.
And it's very, I don't know what's going to happen with the next DLC. Everything's going to be on the line for the next DLC, I reckon. Everyone's going to be like, come on now, Bungie, what's this going to look like,
So there are some concerns, though, in inverted commas, in the sense that recently Bungie took a $100 million investment from NetEase, a Chinese-based internet company, for their next IP and for general sort of engagement with the studio. We don't know what that's going to mean. We don't know if we'll maybe see Destiny Mobile. LOL.
Any last words?
We want to use mobile devices as the platform.
So we don't really know what that means, but it's clear that like a Chinese net company isn't going to be particularly interested in like player satisfaction, and they're going to have much more focus on sort of monetization.
Totally.
But that's
And we don't really know, based on the $100 million is a lot of money. We don't know how much influence NetEase is going to have over the decision making of Bungie in terms of maybe other IP that NetEase wants to work on with. So we might see another situation where they are wanting to get into the China market, and it could be a very anti-consumer monetized mobile product.
We don't know.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Fingers crossed, yeah. But either way, I think we need to ask, what does this mean for us?
Yes.
Now that Bungie is the largest independent studio in the world, or certainly one of them, I would love to see them remake themselves in the image of, say, Warframe and Digital Extremes, or like Grinding Gear Games and Path of Exile. Like these great independent studios who are providing real value to consumers and fantastic games. I'm not saying Bungie will do that.
Yeah.
I'm saying I desperately hope they do that. That would just be incredible.
Yeah, I think that everyone would love the idea that Bungie would go back to the Halo 2, kind of revolutionizing the industry, especially for, console or first-person shooters. Everyone loves that idea. But of course, monetization in gaming has changed dramatically from 2000 to 2018 or 2019. We don't know how much of a role that Bungie played in, damaging Destiny, but this is hopefully a clean slate, and we'll see some really cool stuff for us, and it could be really exciting to see what they do with Destiny 2.
I'm super happy today.
Very exciting.
I'm letting myself just be overexcited.
Totally.
And maybe I'll get brought back down to earth in the future, but for today, I fucking cheer, I take my hat off, I say, bon voyage, Activision.
Bye, Activision.
You will not be missed.
No worries.
Bye-bye, motherfucker.
Red
Bye-bye.
Dot.